Guys, so today we're checking out the Ractime LED Ambient Vent Lighting Kit fitting all 2018 and newer JL Wranglers. So if you're looking for a way to add additional LED lighting and extra styling to your interior, then this is definitely going to be a kit that you'll want to check out. Now this is going to be a very unique product and will be a full replacement for the vents inside your dash. Now, these vents will offer some sporty styling while they're powered down instead of the basic styling that the factory ones have to offer. But when they're powered up, these will offer RGB lighting and give the dashboard a big pop of color. Now the set will come with 4 replacement vents that will have multiple LEDs integrated into the vents themselves that you can control with the touch of a button to go through all of the color options that these have available. Now these will be great if you're looking to match with the existing LEDs that you may have inside of your Wrangler or a specific color scheme that you're going with. Now diving a little bit deeper into the construction of the vent itself, this is going to have an OEM style build. So you're going to have the OEM ABS plastic on the back. You're going to have multiple mounting points that are going to be specific to the location of the vent itself. So they will have, or they will be labeled to where they go, which will give it a very nice fit. You're also going to have the foam on the back end of the vent, which you will have on your factory one. So this is going to be very similar to the factory one, and this is going to be a completely functional vent. So on the front, you're going to get the ball and socket style part of the vent. Make sure that it is directional. You're also going to be able to turn this knob to completely open and shut the vent. So when it's completely open, you're going to have a ton of airflow for your heating and cooling. And then when it's completely closed, obviously, you're not going to have any there. But not only do I like the fact that it's functional, it's got an OEM fit to it, but it's got a lot of styling. I am a big fan of the stainless steel touch that this has here. Matches with any other stainless steel style accessories that you have in your Jeep. A lot of the time that does come from the factory, so this will mesh very well with your interior, and it's not necessarily over the top, but I do like the fact that you get the option to be over the top if you want to with that LED lighting. So overall, I think that this is a high quality kit for what it's worth. And also, the wiring harness is going to be plug and play when it comes to the vents itself. You're going to have a full wiring harness here. You do have to do a little bit of wiring when it comes to getting the lights powered up, but these are going to be plug and play into the vents themselves, and you're going to have a very low profile button here. Now I do like that this is low profile for a number of different reasons. You can hide it out of the way, you can make it very easy to access, it's not going to be in the way, and you don't have to wire it up like you would an external switch. And you're also going to get a strip of automotive grade 3M tape to make sure that button stays where it's supposed to for a long period of time. Now as far as the pricing is concerned on this kit, this is going to sit at roughly $450. Now what I will say is that this is a very unique product. I think that this is a very creative way to add that additional LED lighting and that color to the inside of your Wrangler. I know a lot of people are a fan with adding colored LED lights, but this kind of takes it to another level in comparison to the strip lights that you usually see that you can place in different locations. This will completely integrate it into your dash and make it look seamless. So I do really like that. I also really like the build, like I mentioned before. I think it adds a lot of quality. So for that $450 mark, I think that these are going to be definitely worth the price if LED lighting and that extra pop of color is what you're looking for, and you're also just looking for a functional vent. Now when it comes to installing, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. This is going to be generally easy to install. The only reason why I give it a 2 out of 3 is because there is a little bit of wiring required with this wiring harness, and the taking apart of the dash can be a little lengthy. So it is going to stick at a 2 out of 3 wrenches, taking you about 2 hours to get the job done with some pretty basic hand tools. And one of our installers here is actually going to walk you through this process step by step. So that's going to wrap up my review. Let's go ahead and hop into the install.
Tools used for this installation: plastic clip removal tool, Phillips screwdriver, flat blade screwdriver, crimpers, cutting pliers, regular pliers, 1/4" drive extension, 1/4" drive ratchet, T15 Torx, 5.5mm socket, 10mm socket, and 13mm socket. Hey guys, I'm going to walk you through the uninstall and install of our vent lights here on our 2018 Jeep. We're going to be removing the dash and pulling some of this all apart, removing the airbags, So the first thing we're going to do is get underneath the hood and disconnect our batteries. So now that we got our hood up, I'm going to disconnect our center post here with my 13 millimeters and disconnect my top battery. Take this post off and put the rubber underneath it. That way it's not touching. Do it like that. And now we have an auxiliary battery underneath this wheel well here. We're going to disconnect that too. Then we'll let our vehicle sit for about 30 minutes before we get started. All right, guys, we're in here in our wheel well on our passenger side. We're going to remove these 3 10 millimeters. There's one back here, 2 here, so we can disconnect our auxiliary battery. So I'm going to take my 10 millimeter, get up here, drop this battery down. And then I'm going to get the one behind here. Now, once we get this done, I'm going to take my 10 millimeter again, kind of leave the battery sit on the frame there, move this out of the way. And I'm going to disconnect the negative cable. And put the bolt back in so we don't lose it. It's not going to hurt just to let the battery hang there. Just wrap the cable with the rubber sleeve so it doesn't touch nothing and get it out of the way. And we'll just let the battery hang there like that. Now we'll get in and start taking our dash apart. So first thing we're going to do is remove this piece right here with our start button and our AC unit controls. I'm going to take my plastic trim tool, get behind it, and pop this out. Just like that. And once we get it out, I'm going to disconnect this harness here and push this tab here and pull that out for our starter. Now that removes that piece there. Now that we have that piece out, I'm going to take my Phillips and get under here and remove these screws right in here so we can remove this piece here. I'm going to use the cup holder to put all the screws in so I don't lose them. So now we have these 4 screws out. Now I'm going to remove the plastic panel around our touchscreen. It's just held in with clips. I'm going to use my clip removal tool to pop it out. And we're going to get that out of the way and we'll put that over here. So now we're going to remove this screw up top here. This is one of the screws that holds our dash pad in place. We're going to need to get that out so we can remove our dash pad. And now once we have that out, we're going to start on both corners, pry them up with our clip tool, and then we'll start to remove our dash pad. So now I'm going to take my clip tool, pry up on our dash pad here. Now you're going to want to just repeat that same procedure on the other side. Now that I have all my clips loose, I'm just going to grab the dash pad just like this and put this in the back so it don't get damaged. Next, we're going to go over to the driver's side here and start removing our cluster and our assembly, and then we'll come over here to where our airbag is on this side and start removing that piece. So next I'm going to remove these 4 screws up top here. Once I have those 4 loose, I'm going to be able to pop out our vents in our cluster, just like that. And now we'll go on to the passenger side and remove our vents on that side. Now I'm going to remove these 4 up here. And now we're going to go down and remove our grab handle here. So now I'm going to remove this cover over here for our grab handle. And I'm going to remove the 2 10mm bolts here. So I'm just going to sit that aside. And once I get that out, I'm just going to pull this trim piece off here. So now we're going to remove these 2 Phillips here. So now I'm going to remove this glove box door. You're just going to push up on the plastic and it'll drop down and comes out pretty simple just like that. That's going to give us access to get up in here and remove 2 13mm we need to do that hold the airbag and the whole dash piece here in place. Once you get the glove box door out, there's 2 13mm right up in here. They're tough to see. We're not going to be able to get a camera in there, but they're up inside here. You can put your hand up there and feel. I'm going to take my 13mm and my 1/4 inch drive. There's one. And there's the second. That's what holds this whole piece in. Once you get them top screws out and the other screws, these are the last 2. And then you'll have to unplug your airbag. So now we should be able to grab a hold of this. Just give it a tug like that. It's got some clips. And pull it down enough that we can get behind here and disconnect this wiring harness right there that plugs into this back here. You ain't going to be able to see it, but it's back here. You're just going to unplug that. And now we can remove this whole piece here. So now we're going to take these 2 right here out so that our screen can hang down, because it's going to have to hang down a little bit so we can fish the wiring behind here and then down through to our 12 volt DC outlet there so we can hook up the power and ground. So we're just going to take these 2 out and just very gently let our screen just hang just like that. It's not going to hurt it. Now we'll go over and we'll do the same with the gauge cluster. We might remove it all the way, but we're going to get it out so that we can get behind there and run our wiring harness. So now we're going to remove, there's 4 screws that hold this whole gauge cluster assembly in. 2 up top, 2 in the bottom. I'm going to start by pulling back this piece of plastic here. It's just clipped in. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. And that's enough to get it out of the way so that way we can get in here and get those 2 lower ones out. And we're doing that so that we can run our wiring harness. There really is no place to put a wiring harness on top here, so we're going to have to go behind everything with the harness. So again, I'm just going to take my Phillips, remove these 4 screws. And I dropped one, but it fell out luckily onto the floor mat, which is a good thing. Get this one here, hopefully I won't drop it. This is Cars 101 right here. Trying to fish little bolts out. So now I'm gonna just remove my cluster, pull this clip. Like that. And get that out of the way for now. That way when we start to run our harness back through here, come up and we can put our little connectors that we got to make when we put these vent lights in. And we'll do the same on this side and run it across and then drop it down. Now what we're going to do is remove this piece right here because we need to get to this wire for the 12-volt adapter. That's going to be our hot wire. Our ground wire is going to end up going underneath the steering column here. We're going to find a ground under there. We have to remove this first. This looks like an operating room, I'm sure. There's stuff everywhere, but this piece has to come out too. So we're going to take this Phillips off here and remove this Phillips. Now once we get that Phillips off, we're going to be able to just get our clip removal tool, get back here. Same on this side. And we're just going to hang it down like that. And once we get it down like that, you're probably not going to be able to see, but I'm going to get back here and hopefully release this connector right there. And that's going to give me access to this wire. And we're going to splice into this wire. Ours is already cut into because we use this vehicle for demonstrations. So we're going to end up splicing into this. I'm going to show you how to do it. And we'll start running our wiring harness next and get our wiring harness laid out, get our ground hooked up or hot. Then we'll start connecting our vents into our panels over there. So now what I'm going to do is install our wiring harness. This is what they give us in this kit. And I'm going to start by taking the connectors here that go to our vents themselves, and I'm going to start getting ready to fish this part through the dash, and that's why we had to remove a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to start by fishing it back through the top here, reaching my hand in. Fishing this through. Now we're going to need 2 of them to go over to the other side. Those 2 are going to go over to that side there. Then we have the 3rd one here. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to pull it through this spot right underneath here so it comes out here. I'm going to fish that one. Down through here. And pull it out here, pretty much like that. These will get behind here and we'll finish fishing them over then in a little bit. And then we have our one for this vent, which I'm going to tuck this back behind here, behind the dash. You'll see how there's some spots back there to get to. And then we'll try to pull it. Get your fingers in there. And if you can't get your fingers in there, you get a pair of needle nose or tweezers, you can reach the wire and pull it. And I got that one. I'm just going to pull it out a little bit. Now, we have our box that's next. And what I'm going to do with this box is you have your hot, which is this orange one, and you have your ground. So I'm going to take this box and I'm going to stick it up inside here. There's like a little slot. Once I get it in there, we're going to fish the rest of these wires. Now this orange wire is going to be your hot wire. This is the wire that we're going to take. We're going to run this down behind here. And I'm going to fish it all the way down to the 12 volt plug here that's down here that we pulled out in the uninstall so that we can splice into it. So we're going to fish this through here. Try to get it out of the way so there's no pinch points anywhere. It's not pinched on anything. Much like that. And then I'm going to fish it behind all these panels so I can get it come out. Actually, I'm gonna, instead of doing that, I'm going to go back behind it. I like that better. You just have to find the best way to get it, to route it down to this spot here. It's just a little bit tougher to get my hand back in there to grab it. Oh. All right, I like that better. So we'll fish this wire down through. And then we'll end up, when we get it down, we're not going to need all this wire. We'll end up cutting this, tying it up, whatever you want to do. And then we'll end up hooking this up later. Now we have our ground. I'm going to do the same. Now this ground's going to come down and it's going to go underneath the dash here. And there's a spot for it. So I'm just gonna drop it down like that. And last is the switch wire that's gonna activate this. I'm actually gonna put it right here on the side of this steering column. So I'm going to fish this down like this behind the backing plate. Gotta be careful with this one because it could tear. And I'm going to just have it so that it pops out right over here, and then we'll just put it in place once we get this all bolted up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of our flat blade adapters here that we can put in place here, and I'm going to put this on and splice into this red wire. Sometimes you got to take some pliers, just push it together like that. That makes sure it's connected. Now that we have that, we're going to take our yellow wire, or orange wire, sorry. Take our orange wire here, and we're going to twist it up. Fold it. And take one of our blade terminals. There we go. Get this. Take our crimping tool. We're going to crimp that and then hook this up like that. I'm going to take the rest of the wire. Now you can cut this and make it the length if you're keeping it on your vehicle. On our vehicle, we will be removing this, so I'm just going to tie this up for now and get it out of the way. What we'll do is we'll just get all the extra wire, get some wire ties actually, and tie this up, and then we'll install this and hook this back up. So I got my extra wire tied up here, put it in a wire tie. I'm gonna put it up in the corner here and get it out of the way so we don't pinch it. It doesn't interfere with anything. Then I'm going to reinstall our connector here for our 12-volt outlet. Got that back in place, and then once we have that in place, we can reinstall this panel, push it back in, and now we'll reinstall with our Phillips our screw that was holding that in place. And now we'll go to our ground connector. So now we're going to hook our ground up to this bolt right here. Just loosen this up with my 10mm wrench or ratchet. You didn't have to take it out all the way, which I did, but I'm going to tighten that up. Then I'm going to take my extra wire. I'll tie this up. There's a wire tie. That, and we'll tuck that up underneath here out of the way. Now that we have that installed, I'm going to take my panel, put it back in place, just push up on it. And get that in place down there. Now we'll go over onto our bench and start installing our vents. So now we're going to install our vents and remove our old vents. I'm going to take a 5.5mm on this one and a T15 Torx. Not sure why they have two different ones, but that's how this is. So we're going to start first with our one with our airbag in. We're going to take our 1/4-inch drive with our 5.5mm and start removing these vents. So now I'm going to remove the 3 screws that hold these on. this one. I didn't want to pull too hard on it just to make sure it wasn't stuck. Now we'll install our new ones. So now we're going to remove our chrome ring from each one and put on our new one. You're going to find that each one is specific to each piece. You'll find that out when you do it. So I'm going to make sure that I put this ring on that one, that ring on that one. So what I'm going to do is just start by loosening my connectors, popping this off, go around, just like that. And it'll come right off like that. This we're not going to reuse. That's going to go in here and stay with that. Then we're going to take our new one and line this up like that. Pop it into place, and now you're going to just want to repeat this whole same procedure 3 more times on the rest of them that we need to do. Now that we have our rings on these two, I'm going to put these back in our panel, start our bolts. I have that one in place. I'm going to do the same for this one. Line the tabs up. Tighten these down. Now we'll go on to our driver's side and install the vent tubes in that one. Now we're going to disassemble our vents on our driver's side panel here and take my T15 Torx, my 1/4" drive, and remove these 3 screws. Pull them out, set them in place like that. Do the same to this one. Next, after we pull this one out, we'll remove the trim piece from there and install it on our new vents. Now I'm going to remove our trim piece from our vent. Just pop that off and go around it. Pop the clips off. Once we get that off, what I'm going to do is install that onto our new one. Just like that. Set that in place. Now you're going to just want to repeat that same procedure on the other side. So now I'm going to just reinstall our 3 screws. Take my Torx, tighten them up. Do the same on this side. Now that we got all our vents in on both panels, we're ready to reinstall our panels into our Jeep. So the first thing I'm gonna do, since we have our harness back behind here, is I'm gonna put our screen back in place. Put our Phillips screws back in that we took out. Tighten these up. Next, I'm going to take our cluster and plug this in like that. Put this back into place where we had it. Put our screws. Put our 4 screws in, or 2 screws in the bottom, sorry. And then there's one over here yet. Now that we got those in, I'm going to tighten the top ones up. Now that I got those tight, I'm going to push the dash back into place here so it connects, just like that. Do the same on the other side. Make sure our wires aren't getting pinched nowhere. Everything looks good. We have room, these move back and forth, so when we connect them. So next we'll install our complete dash panel here, and then we'll work our way over. So now I'm going to take our plastic panel, connect our vent lights, push them down into place. Do the same on this side. Push them down into place and get them out of the way. Then we'll stick our panel back in place. Just like that. Make sure everything moves. Now we'll install our 4 screws up top to hold it in place. Tighten these 4 up. Now that we have those all in place, we'll work our way over to our passenger side and install that. So now I'm going to finish just routing this wire. And I'm going to put it behind here, just like we did the others, and pull it through like that, and tuck it up behind here. And once I got that where I want it, now we're going to install our vents over here with our airbag. So we're going to have to grab our yellow connector down here and connect our vent lights. Our airbag connector here. And that's connected. Our other vent light over here. I'll push these back down in. And goes with this one. Push this down in so it's out of the way. Once I got them in place, make sure I don't pinch any wires anywhere. This one here looks like it could pinch. Set that panel back in place. Make sure everything moves freely. And now we're going to install our two 13 millimeters underneath here. So now I'm going to reinstall our 13 millimeters. Get them started. Then just tighten them up with our 13 1/4 inch dry ratchet. Now they're tight, we'll start and replace and put our 4 Phillips heads up top and get our cover all back together. I'm going to start with my upper bolts, get them started. And we'll finish the 2 on the bottom here. They were Phillips 2. And now that I have all 4 of those tight, the 2 on the bottom, I can go put my panel back in here, my piece of plastic trim. Now that that's in, we'll install our grab bar here, and then we'll put our glove box in. Now we're going to install our glove box door. Put that back in place. Now we'll install our grab bar here. Put that in place, put our 10 millimeters back in. Take my 1/4" drive, my 10mm. That's back in place. We'll put our plastic clip in place, our cover here. And now that we got those done, we're going to reinstall our dash pad up top and then work the way down into here to finish up our center console. Next, we'll put our upper dash pad back in place here. Slides in place just like that. And now that we have that in place, we're going to install our Phillips screw here that was holding it in place. And now we have that done. Now we'll install our piece of plastic around our LED screen here, and then come down and finish installing where our start and our controls are. Next, we'll put this piece back in. It's going to pretty much just push into place and clip. And then on the bottom here, we have 2 Phillips that we're going to install there, and then 2 more on the outer edge. So 4 total altogether. And 2 more out here. Now that we have those all in, next we'll install this piece right down here. So we're just going to plug our connector in right here, and the start connector. Now we have those all in place. We'll sit it down underneath there, push back in place, and now we're going back under the hood, install our cables for our battery and our auxiliary battery, and this installation will be wrapped up. So now I'm going to rehook up our auxiliary battery here. Now I'm going to install our negative cable back on here, tighten it up, the cover back on. Now I'm going to put this battery back up in place, which is a little tough to do. I'm gonna get 2 started, then try to start the back one. Now we're going to install our positive cable back in place. Use our 13mm, tighten it up. Put our cover back on. After we got all these back together, now all we're going to do is mount our on and off switch. It's just two-sided tape on this. I'm just going to peel this back. Once I get that peeled back, you can figure out wherever you want to stick your on and off switch. I'm just going to stick it right there, put it in place. It'll be right underneath our engine on and off switch, and that way we'll be able to turn our lights on. That wraps up this installation. That wraps up this review and install of our Raxiom LED ambient vent lighting kit for 18 and all Jeep Wrangler JLs. Thanks for watching, and for all things Jeep, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.